Greetings and salutations. Today we'll be covering the disappearance of Michael Edwin Hearon. It was on a fateful morning in August 23rd, 2008 at approximately 11 a.m. when the tranquility of Bell Branch Road in Blount County, Tennessee was shattered when 51-year-old Michael Edwin Hearon embarked on a journey that would lead to his mysterious disappearance. A seasoned outdoorsman, he set off on his ATV, venturing into the densely forested lands near his 100-acre home, which was nestled right alongside the Smoky Mountains National Park. Unfortunately, this would be the last sighting of Mike. His absence would cast a veil of uncertainty over the years, as his case would remain one of the more perplexing mysteries in the region. Despite a comprehensive search by authorities, there were no tangible clues to have surfaced, save for his abandoned ATV, found with its keys still in its ignition, the gear set to high, and the kill switch in the off position. The wilderness around this area of Happy Valley concealed a secret, it appeared. There were no telltale signs of footprints, no shreds of torn clothing, and no discernible path through the thicket of undergrowth which the ATV was found in. That, along with the lack of traces of blood, tissue, or bones, suggested that Mike might not have ever set foot in this vast forest, despite all the information that said otherwise. Eventually, official conjecture would veer towards the theory of abduction, or a harrowing encounter within the woods, but the truth seemed to elude investigators, leaving the family shattered and uncertain about the fate of their family member. They firmly believed that foul play was at play on that ominous day in August 2008, a belief that has yet to be extinguished despite the relentless passage of time. Now let us delve deeper into the victim. Mike Hearon, the man who vanished into the Tennessee wilderness, stood at 5 foot 10 inches and carried a weight of approximately 185 pounds. His attire on the day of his vanishing was a faded red t-shirt and khaki cargo shorts, along with a pair of sandals. However, what most set Mike apart were the telltale marks of a life well lived, etched upon his body. He bore a surgical scar on the back of his knee, another on his leg, nestled between his knee and his thigh, a haunting memento of a snakebite on one foot, along with an appendectomy scar marking his abdomen. There was also a tattoo which graced his lower back. Intriguingly, one of his feet was 1.5 sizes smaller than the other, a unique and distinguishing feature that would have made identifying his remains all the easier. When considering his health as a factor in this case, it must be understood that Mike was a paragon of fitness, with only mildly high blood pressure to note. His journey through life began in East Tennessee. His early years were marked by attendance at Laner High School, where he displayed his prowess on the football field. Post-high school, he would embark on the path of working for the Park Service, taming the wilds while trimming the trails. Later, he would delve into the realm of home building. A third-generation builder at heart, his endeavors would culminate with the creation of Mike Hearon Builders, a thriving business where his sons Matt and Andy would also play a pivotal role. Notably, the firm had offloaded much of its housing inventory in 2007, just before the devastating housing market crash of 2008 and 2009, which suggested a prudent financial stance, diminishing the possibility of the disappearance being an insurance fraud scheme. The idea of Mike being lost in the area seems unlikely due to his connection to the Happy Valley area, running rather deep. This area was intimately tied with the 100-acre expanse he owned, where cattle roamed freely. The allure of exploration led him to venture into the depths of the adjacent Great Smoky Mountains National Park, where hidden caves beckoned and mysteries awaited in the heart of the wilderness. As investigators treaded deeper into the puzzle, they had to consider a myriad of facts about Mike's life, due to them potentially holding the key to understanding his baffling disappearance. Happy Valley was an unincorporated community nestled within the heart of Blount County, Tennessee. This secluded hamlet was home to approximately 500 residents who resided in the narrow valley which bears its name. Happy Valley's boundaries are defined by the imposing Chihoe Mountain to the north, standing as a silent sentinel over the community. To the south, Pine Mountain and Hatcher Mountain stand as a nearly unpassable barrier. Cascade Cove on the opposite side of Hatchet and Pine Mountain completed this quartet of mountains, making this picturesque valley rather isolated and secluded. Now focusing on the area where the event occurred, the majestic expanse of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park park is a sprawling territory that spans 522,419 acres, which straddles the ridgeline of the formidable Great Smoky Mountains, a segment of the Blue Ridge Mountains affectionately referred to as the Smokies. This park is a realm where the borders between Tennessee and North Carolina carves its path, dividing the landscape from northeast to southwest. Important to this case is the amount of visitors the park may receive, and in 2019, it would receive a staggering 12.5 million visitors. This is a place where nature's grandeur draws people in like moths to a flame. Yet despite this, the beguiling landscape bears its own secrets, replete with drainages etched by creeks, giant boulders which can conceal mysteries, and steep cliffs bearing crevasses that may endanger the curious. Circling back to the victim, on that Saturday, Andy, aged 26, received a call from his father at around 9:30 a.m. Mike, in his message, conveyed his intent to depart from his residence in the nearby town of Maryville, embarking on a journey to Andy's home. His goal was to retrieve a lawnmower and a trailer, with the purpose of trimming some unruly grass on his property in Happy Valley. An eerie coincidence would unfold, for Andy was absent from his home when his father's call reached him, but their conversation persisted as he coordinated their actions. Mike informed Andy that he was on his way back and suggested they could work together and load the lawnmower into the trailer. Matt, aged 25, received a voicemail from his father explaining what he and Matt's brother intended to do. The sequence of events that followed took an intriguing turn when Andy offered his father the option to proceed alone, knowing that they lived approximately half an hour apart. As Andy journeyed back to his residence that morning, he would end up crossing paths with Mike on Gateway Road. At that moment, Mike was in possession of the lawnmower, and it seemed that he headed towards East Lamar on Alexander Parkway, presumably en route to Bell Branch Road. What makes this encounter all the more interesting is that Andy detected no signs of anything amiss. There were no hints, no particular behaviors that would raise any alarm bells. Furthermore, another of Mike's closest friends interacted with him on that same morning, and there was no inkling of any impending turmoil which would cause him to actively disappear. A few hours would pass, and at around 11 a.m., Mike's neighbors who resided adjacent to his property near the terminus of Bell Branch Road had their own encounter with him, and they witnessed him pulling into the driveway, towing a piece of equipment on a trailer. Mike's home was situated towards the dead end of Bell Branch Road, necessitating him to travel past numerous other farms on his journey. Yet just a half an hour later, another sighting of Mike occurred, this time astride his ATV, as he journeyed down Bell Branch Road, acknowledging his neighbors with a wave. Investigators would note that these interactions do not suggest that anything was amiss at the moments preceding Mike's perplexing disappearance. These details would offer a perplexing juxtaposition to the theories and the mystery of Mike's disappearance, as he was engulfed by the wilderness of Happy Valley. Matt and Andy would later receive a call from their grandmother on August 24th at 2 p.m. She was rather worried due to not having received a call from Mike and being unable to reach him. Alma recounted the disconcerting events that she had witnessed. She had gone to her son's house and found it empty, and having knocked on the door, she received no reply. Initially, Matt and Andy offered reassurances, explaining their father's silence and the presence of equipment. They presumed that their father had been immersed in taking care of the 40 head of cattle that resided on his farm, or been occupied with other work on the farm. Assuading their grandmothers, they assured her that her son would contact her later. However, as the 25th dawned, unease would weigh heavily upon Alma's heart. Her grandsons would receive a call at 8:30 a.m., and she had told them that she had not heard from their father. Mike's sons would then decide that they needed a further inquiry, so Matt embarked on a journey to Mike's condo, which was significantly closer to their father's work, and it was likely that he would be there because he stayed there anywhere from 3 to 4 nights each week. He noticed that 2 of the 3 vehicles were still there, a Mercedes and a Harley motorcycle. Once inside, he noticed the bed was neatly made. Eventually, Matt would rendezvous back with Andy, and the duo would set course for their father's farm. Alma, once more driven by concern, had soon contacted Matt and Andy due to having had a disconcerting discovery. Mike's truck was in a rather strange position. It was in a position that would block the path normally taken by the school bus. It must be noted that the truck's windows were left open, the doors unlocked, and inside, Mike's keys, ID, and money clip, along with his cell phone, all lay undisturbed. Once the brothers arrived, they found that their father's missing ATV was a source of concern. It suggested the harrowing possibility that Mike might have encountered an accident and suffered injuries while on the vehicle. Around noon on Monday, August 25th, a call was placed to some family members, alerting them about Mike's absence. Matt and Andy, determined to find their father, undertook the repair of another ATV, and once that was finished, they quickly set off to search their father's property in order to see if they could find him. As they traversed the intricate web of ATV trails, they were unable to find anything of merit. Realizing that their father might have been lost and hurt, they decided to call the police at around 3 to 4 p.m. They would quickly come in contact with both the National Park Service and the authorities, quickly filing a missing persons report. Between the hours of 6 and 7 p.m., the Blount County Sheriff's Office and search teams, including members of the National Park Service, descended upon the farm and the surrounding areas, ready to unravel the enigma of the missing man. Their initial efforts took them to the heart of the community, where they engaged in conversations with Mike's friends and acquaintances around the neighborhood. The hope was to glean any morsel of information that might shed light upon his whereabouts. With the assistance of sniffer dogs, the search parties embarked on a quest to pick up any trace of Mike in the area, beginning with the ATV trails. However, the forces of nature would soon intervene. About 30 minutes to an hour into their pursuit, heavy rain began to descend, and it showed no signs of relenting for several days. As a deluge soaked the landscape, the quest to locate Mike grew ever more complex. Eventually, an unsung hero would emerge amongst the ranks of the community. A man with decades of experience, Gary Whitehead, who was coincidentally the next door neighbor, would volunteer to lead the search parties. Whitehead had shared a brief moment with Mike on the day he disappeared, as he drove past his house on an ATV. Whitehead would become a beacon of hope in this enigmatic search. His unwavering passion for finding Mike made him the first to begin the quest to journey even deeper into Happy Valley. Then on Tuesday, August 26th, a startling development took place. Mike Heron's missing ATV was found at about 12:05 p.m. The location was an unfamiliar one for Mike, situated near an abandoned cabin not far from the national park itself, but just outside its boundaries. The state in which the ATV was found raised further suspicions, as it had not been parked in a usual manner. It had appeared as if someone had hastily dismounted it or left it abandoned, partly hidden under dense underbrush. Remarkably, the vehicle remained unscathed and undamaged in any way, and the fuel tank reserve was full. Matt Heron, Mike's son, would offer up an unsettling observation, one that sent shivers down the collective spines of the community. He pointed out that the ATV had been left in high gear on a steep incline, and the ignition switch inexplicably left on, as the kill switch was also deactivated. This was entirely out of character for Mike, as such an oversight would drain the battery, a scenario he would have been well aware of. The Heron brothers recognized the ATV immediately as being their father's, but inexplicably the location left them perplexed and deeply suspicious, as it was evident there was no mere accident which had taken their father. Something apparently more sinister was at play. The revelation of the ATV seemed to shake the foundations of this investigation. As Matt Heron recounted, it didn't make any sense how the four-wheeler was left, that he would have put it there, or that something happened that wasn't right. The perplexing location lay between Mike's property and the missionary-owned land that he had been mowing, approximately a mile and a half from his home. It was eerily close to the national park, merely a 3-minute walk away from it. On Wednesday, August 27th, deputies and over 50 dedicated community volunteers descended upon the area where the ATV was found. Despite their concerted efforts, the cruel hand of fate remained unyielding. The rain that had persisted for days had impacted their search, essentially covering up or erasing much, if not all, crucial evidence. The scene was left bereft of footprints or any discernible trail. There was not even potential evidence of struggle. The dogs dispatched in the search could not pick up a scent, save for the truck back at Mike's house. The search, though, revealed no signs of an animal attack, such as torn clothing, blood, tissue, bones, or flesh, and it appeared Mike had evaporated without a trace. The ensuing days bore witness to exhaustive search efforts, a collective endeavor to unveil this mystery. Hundreds of volunteers and officials combed through approximately 450 acres, researching some areas multiple times and deploying aerial assistance with the Knox County Sheriff's Office helicopter. Cadaver dogs from North Carolina's sheriff's deputies on horseback, private citizens with ATVs and their own horses aid in the grid searches of on-foot volunteers. An extensive search encompassed roughly 50 miles of hiking trails. Along with everything else, drones were deployed to map the terrain. In the heart-wrenching turn of events, the official search would be called off by Blount County Sheriff's Office on Friday, August 29, 2008, leaving the family and the community in a profound state of disarray. On January 2009, a renewed search effort was undertaken, yielding some tantalizing discoveries. An article of clothing was found near the vicinity of Mike's ATV. However, it must be noted that this article did not match any owned by Mike. Moreover, a fire pit revealed the presence of bones, but alas, the bones belonged to a crow, not Mike. As the years have passed, clues continue to elude searchers, and as no new leads have emerged, hope seems to be constantly dwindling. Despite a $15,000 reward, Mike's sons organized an annual hike known as Hike for Mike to, in essence, function as a way to search areas where he could have vanished with the aid of others. In an organized event, the enigma of Mike Heron's vanishing continues to baffle many an investigator, and as they plunge deeper into the heart of this unanswered mystery, the shadows of uncertainty loom large. One element which makes the theories become more plausible is that the weather could have washed away any tracks and erased almost all evidence of anything that could have potentially happened to Mike. This aspect becomes even more important when the only scent hit that registered was in Mike's truck proper. In fact, the meteorological conundrum appeared to aid in the vanishing. In the labyrinth of the many theories surrounding Mike Heron's vanishing, one of the most prevailing theories is that it could have been a voluntary vanishing, or even the dark specter of self-termination. However, both Mike's sons, Andy and Matt, vehemently attest that their father would never have willingly abandoned his loved ones. The prospect of grandchildren on the horizon, and his words about Andy, who had recently tied the knot with his wife, depicted the man as being deeply committed to his family. Andy Heron would attest that his dad was big on family. He would state that he loved being outdoors and being here on the Bell Branch property. Matt would echo this sentiment, standing firmly against the notion of a voluntary disappearance or a self-termination, affirming that their father would simply never have vanished into thin air. Matt would attest, saying, "We definitely don't think that happened. He was too close to his mom, me, and my brother, who had just gotten married. There's no reason that he would have gotten up and walked." But the heart-wrenching void left by Mike Heron's inexplicable absence is not without lingering dreams. Matt voiced with heavy grief, revealing a poignant glimpse into the dreams that his father had nurtured. "I think he would have been an excellent grandfather. I just know he would. He'd already been talking about how he was going to build him a cabin on the property and a pool for the baby. He was going to take the baby up to the pool for a swim. He had lots of plans." With the specter of self-termination, on the other hand, Matt would affirm that his father did not suffer from depression. The pillars in his life, both personal and professional, appeared to stand strong, with no apparent financial or personal strife which could necessitate self-termination in order to receive funds for the family. As investigators delved deeper into the mystery, a clue which caused more theories to arise came from the abandoned ATV. Its ignition switch, strangely being left on the on position, was a stark indicator that something abrupt and ominous had disrupted the journey into the wilderness. This perplexing detail, many believe, hinted at a sinister possibility, one which implied Mike had encountered an unforeseen threat lurking in the depths of the forest. Was it a malevolent presence, or a more menacing silhouette of another? Could it have been an encounter so unnerving, so fraught with peril, that he had no choice but to forsake his vehicle in haste? Andy Heron, grappling with the inexplicable circumstances, voiced his convictions that their father would not have willingly concealed the ATV in the underbrush. The location of the vehicle was uncharacteristic for Mike, and it raised the question, what dark force led him to forsake his vehicle in that road? Matt echoed his brother's suspicions, asserting that the situation defies logic, and it drives him to a chilling conclusion: foul play, noting that the pieces of the puzzle refuse to align unless an outside force was acting upon a sinister narrative. There are also whispers of an illicit dealing gone awry, one involving the clandestine world of the drug trade, perhaps an unsettling encounter with a cultivation operation hidden within the forest. Amongst the more outlandish theories involving this disappearance are whispers of the bizarre and otherworldly. Some dare suggest Mike's fate could have been entwined with the mythical creature known as the Bigfoot, a cryptid believed to inhabit these woods. However, what evidence is given to substantiate this bit of conjecture is inexistent, while others believe a haunting specter or extraterrestrial abduction were involved. However, once again, these theories lack any evidence to back them up, since this area had no particular connections with any previous supernatural activity, be it earthly or otherworldly. The void of evidence surrounding Mike's vanishing seemed to be what intensified the prevalence of these outlandish theories, as it entertains many to contemplate the possibilities that his disappearance could have been outside of the realm of mortal actions, such as the more likely theories of a smuggling operation and even a debt-driven vendetta. In this enigmatic expedition through the tale of Mike Heron, investigators treaded the treacherous terrain of mystery and conjecture, from his sudden vanishing to the vast vistas of Happy Valley and the particular puzzle of his ATV. As they navigated the nebulous nuances of the perplexing case, investigators have pondered the possibilities of foul play, while others dallied with the notions of extraterrestrial encounters or the supernatural, as they danced on the doorstep of the paranormal. Amidst the eerie echoes of unanswered questions, investigators are left with an elusive enigma, one which questions what truly happened to Mike Heron, a riddle hidden within the rolling hills of Tennessee. As darkness has descended upon this cryptic chronicle and the case that's become cold, investigators have drawn the conclusion that in this realm of uncertainty, every answer would only beget more questions. As this enigma remains its secret sealed in the spectrum of the unknown, it seems that the case of Mike Heron will forever refuse to unravel. If you remained with me until the end, I thank you, and I do hope you stay tuned and subscribe for more content.